Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's ladder action this afternoon with a Joe and a Pro. I'm super excited. And first of all, big thank you to everybody who tuned in on the previous stream, which went out on Wednesday and is now up for posterity. I'm trying to learn this game, to scale the mountain that is the FA learning curve. Yeah, it was a bit like deer in headlights, but huge thank you to System Failure for putting up with my own personal failings and yeah, attempting to get me to garner some knowledge about this wonderful creation, and hopefully it'll enhance the cast. If you do want to catch that, guys, it is up like a normal video if you missed the stream, so you can go and check that out. Hopefully you will be able to take something from it. Probably if you're a pro level you won't, but if you're new to the game, if you do play, or even if you don't and you want to just get a better understanding of the way it works, there's a lot of info there. Certainly a ton of stuff I didn't know, so well worth it. I'm going to make it a regular thing, maybe a regular Wednesday thing, I'm not sure exactly, but we're going to have a weekly session, a weekly stream where I am going to learn some more. System Failure is going to handle the first few, but I've got a few other pros who've chimed in, said they've expressed an interest in it as well, so we're going to get a range of opinions. Very exciting stuff. Anyway, to celebrate that, we're going to go in mano and mano today. Mano? No, we're just going to go mano and mano today on some ladder action. It's frightening stuff. I see. I'm getting anxious now for these guys, even though this match was played the other day. Alright, it's enough of blabbering. Let's get on with the game. As we said, it's going to be ladder. It's going to go down on Williamson's bridge. I'm ready. You guys are ready. And the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching. Ka-ching. Instant loading. That's what we like to see. Let's take a look at our players up here at the top left. In the red corner. Fighting for the socialists. Jesus, the mouse wheel sensitivity's up high. I'll try and be careful. That's still up high from the previous stream when I was playing myself. Here he is. It's Morax going Cybrin in the red corner, opening first land, going to P-Gen right off the bat, and his opponent down here in the blue corner, it's a Johnice227 fighting for the brave and noble UEF, opening first land, and he's also going to P-Gen. Let's zoom out, let's split screen, and examine their glorious openings, because you want to pass them off of yours. I know how you think. I know how it works now more than ever. So both going to P-Gen. Jonas has queued up two more, but I think he's going to get these land factories first. He's going to throw those down to that southern mechs there and get the adjacency bonus. First engineer off the bat for Morax is going to reclaim a little bit and then work on that mechs to the southeast of his factory. Morax is going to complete that P-Gen and then just kind of stand around a bit observing the flora and fauna, which is lovely, admittedly, on Williamson's bridge. There he goes. He's got a move command. And he's going to take the western mechs next. He's also queued up a couple of land factories and two more P-Gens down there, way out on the side, not hooked up to anything. Interesting. There'll be someone wants to point out the reason for that. I'm all ears, all keen to listen. Two more P-Gens coming up there for Jonas there before he starts work on those land factories. Southern mechs completed. Morax then starts his P-Gens. He's going to get both of those and then put the two land factories down. First few units out, going east, southeast obviously for Morax, taking the eastern pass. One engineer on his Todd, a mantis and a mole for a little bit of intel. There's the obligatory GLHF, good luck, have fun, from Jonas, and hopefully we'll get some response from the socialist. There it is. Not saying who was in the right and who was in the wrong there. It's all good. No, Morax is a lovely chap. No judgment there, and I think that was a Snoop that just got blasted by that mantis down on the east. I think it's fair to say we can go back to full screen now as we've seen the opening workings. There in comes the mantis and the mole. There is a striker lying in wait. Hillock gets in the way of the first couple of shots, but then sorts it out. You know what? It's actually starting to annoy me. This is probably going to annoy you right in the middle of the stream, but I've just got to bring that mouse wheel sensitivity down a little bit, because it's a little bit much for me. There'll be some people out there saying, no, keep it. I see, that's perfect as far as I'm concerned. Mantis down the middle, meanwhile, for Morax. It's going to start engaging that westerly mechs belonging to Jonas. Now he's going after the engineer down here. There is a striker and a snoop, but it will not save that engineer. Down he goes. Another mantis, meanwhile, with 2 kills to its name, must have circled all the way around the back there of Jonas's base and is now pulling out towards the west. There's another engineer going to go down. Yes, it is. Nice work there from Morax, picking up that kill and stalling production on that mass pump at about 60% done. Mantis double teamed over here. Will scalp one more kill before going bye-byes himself. Let's get rid of that. And that other Mantis will shoo away through that pass just to the south of the central valley. And another Mantis still alive. 2 kills, but it's badly damaged with 3 strikers determined not to let it go. Meanwhile, we're going to see a kill for Jonas. Quite potentially, engineer might complete it. Yes, it does. So although the engineer is going to die, he does get the mechs out of it. Whether or not he can keep it is another thing altogether. Other side of the valley, the central valley, another exchange, and this is actually the side of the map that Jonas has decided to take his ACU, Williamson's bridge. You pick one or two sides, you never go down the middle, or very rarely, and it is the single most frequent base train map. I think it's fair to say. Anybody disagree with me and knows of a better one, do let me know, but this is classic base trade map. You get both ACUs picking alternative sides and pushing all the way up to each other's base and knocking them out essentially and having to start all over again. That's why you do get some nice protracted ladder matches on this map. The next major push from Morax looking like it was being queued up to go down the middle, but he's thought better of it. He knows the ACU is pushing up on that top side, so he's pulled his troops back and he's looking to defend over here. T1 PD going down. I don't think he's going to be able to finish that at the rate that's going up. Engineer will be lucky to make it out of there. He's going to deal with the first 2 tanks without any difficulty, but as soon as Jonas sees that PD, he's going to open up on the engineer, I would imagine, or just take it down. There it goes. Now pushing his way forward. 9 kills on that ACU already. Halfway up on that first rank in vet. Engineers scooping up reclaim up at the top. All know how important that is. Cheeky little Mantis with 3 kills just lurking down there at the bottom. After all of that first little bit of pressure around Jonas's base, that survived and is just hidden down there. Morax is pushing up with his comm meanwhile. Moving forward on Jonas's base. Not a lot of troops left if you look at the minimap to defend that base. All of the action for the time being happening at Morax's base. Engineers have managed to get a PD up in the main base, so that will work well in Morax's favor, preventing Jonas from an easy ride entering the base. He's got a lot of spam up here, but of course Jonas constantly racking up the kills, and it's going to make that comm stronger and stronger as he gets more ranks in vet. Still looking for his first, but it's not far off at 21 T1 unit kills, but that's a lot of prioritization going in on the comm. He drops down into the yellow, 8,400 HP, but he brings his own spam in as well. Like the amount of damage he was soaking there. All Mantis. It's a clumped opportunity for some artillery action. It is about getting as many units on the field as quickly as possible. Morax not looking like he's doing an awful lot with his comm. That engineer, that Mantis, sorry, did kill another Mex or an engineer down there. You can see the Mex is gone before dropping back, so nice work there from him. But essentially all of the play going down right here at Morax's base. Jonas pushing very, very hard now, and he's got his first rank in vet, 9,400 hit points, and he's getting 16 hit points a second on regen. Second PD in the base of Morax is queued up. All sections have looked better around the first, but the PD itself still intact. Let's check in on Jonas's base as Morax has rolled right in and started attacking the main structures. Trouble is, there's a couple of T1 PDs in there, and Morax has taken a little bit of a battering. He's down to 60%, only 11 kills on his ACU so far. He looks like he's returning to base to help with this defensive operation. Johnice starts a land factory for a reinforcing option closer to the front line, but he doesn't stick around to finish it. There's Morax's comms. He's still making his way down. Yes, he is, but he's got a long way to go. Johnice 2 mass ahead on generated eco, 17 to 15. An advantage, but not much. 41 kills and near his second rank in veterancy. Nearly 9 minutes gone. And these guys not letting up. Meanwhile, an out-pushing attack on the south side of the central valley from Johnice, clearing out these mexes belonging to Morax. If we can get an engineer out here, he can start to expand, and all of the attention having been up here, might be a good time for him to do just that. But Johnice seems to have run out of troops, mainly I'm guessing because he saved up a bunch and sent them west. Lobo's going after the engineer down there. Mech's still operational for Morax. It's now 17 mass apiece. Morax, due to reclaim, is actually up on the deal by about, I mean, it's hard to know exactly, but I'm guessing around 1,000. It's exactly 1,000. Sorry, exactly 2,000 there. Morax at 12k, Johnice at 10k. They ticked over at the same time, and both now on 15 mass to tick. So eco-wise, Morax is ahead in terms of total mass accrued, but all about the rate that it's going in. And now Johnice edges ahead, 17 to 15, as Morax pushes out on that south side. And Morax's comm finally getting in on the action on the east side of Morax's base, going toe-to-toe with Johnice, who's now a 2-starred comm. That's 22 hit points a second versus the base Cybrin of 15 hit points a second. And also the Cybrin obviously giving up a bunch of hit points on base anyway, but unvetted 10,000 versus 14,400, excuse me, on Johnice's comm. That's a significant advantage, and he already had a higher percentage of his base HP when he turned up anyway, so Morax has to be pretty clinical here with his play. Down the bottom, spam on spam. Morax gets a poor engage, doesn't present a flat formation. Both of these guys into the yellow now, but look at the differentials on actual hit points. Johnice with almost double the HP Morax has, and Morax having to back up deeper into his base. He's still got an engineer up here. Magno up in the corner. He's lost the PD. Hasn't had a chance to rebuild that mechs. What's going on in the main bases? Have we got any kind of tech on the way or anything like that? It's not huge mass totals, so could be a ways off tech yet. It's hard to tech up your eco and get more coming in when the fighting is this fierce. Morax scooping every tank he can get his hands on. Johnice prioritizing kills right now, trying to continue to thin out the field. Engineers ill-advisedly wandering into reclaim and not lasting very long at all. Johnice almost 3/4 of the way to his next rank in vet. Morax still looking for his first. He'll get a lot more regen. Oh no, excuse me, has got that first rank. Thought that was surprising at 25 or 22, whatever he was on. Maybe he just picked it up. But you can see that regen jumping to 21 a second. Jonas with 22 a second. Minutes gone, and suddenly, for the first time, there's a little bit of a lull. Jonas going to lose this engagement pretty badly. Massively outnumbered over on the south side of the bridge. In calling it a valley, it is, of course, a bridge. Excuse me. I suppose there are rocks forming a sort of valley-like thing either way, so you can get up off my back about it. Engineer taken out up there for Morax, and that's been transferred to Jonas's control, and it's currently 21 to 19, but that's going to tick up even further when he gets that next Mex. T1 Mex will offer him another 2. There it goes, 23, but Morax ticks up as well. Picked up another resourcing option or 2 somewhere else. T2 upgrade on the way for Morax. It's going to give him a chunk of HP back when that completes, and allow him to hopefully lock down up here. Finally put an end to Jonas's pressure. 50% done there. That upgrade looks like it's going to complete before 15 minutes is up at the rate it's going. And he's power stalling as a result of it. See, he's trying to build extra T1 P-gens there, but this will affect his output. Oh, the longer this goes on, he needs all the mass he can get his hands on. Right, there it goes. Balance restored, but still at a deficit. But now he has an upgrade advantage against Jonas. He can come down here and start laying down some point defense. And there's this first Cerberus turret. Suddenly the prospect got a little bit harder north of the bridge for Jonas. Engineer down here trying to lock down this area with some T1 PD. We've got any artillery in here. Looks like it's mainly tanks, or all tanks and snoops. That's going to be hard to brush aside. Jonas discovers the point defense. Gets a little bit battered by it, so Morax responds by pushing out. Let's take a look at general spam count. So on T1 tank, 65 there for Jonas. Mantis count for Morax at 40. So behind on spam. Admittedly, he's got a what looks like a higher density of low Medusas in there, sort of light artillery. So he's gone for a wider unit mix. But I think it's fair to say down overall, and that will be indicative of the upgrade he's just gone through on the comm, the mass, or the power stall. As a result, the drop in mass output. Another Cerberus turret up here, so we've got a creep going on north of the bridge. Morax takes down that T1 PD and is going to extend out, gathering more territory under his control with his comm. T1 force that's assisting. Looking too bad for Morax right now, having been a bit of a shaky start with that early pressure from Jonas, who's backed up all the way over here with his comm. Mechs down and out, as is another one. Jonas brought back down to heal, 21 to 19 now. Eco almost leveled. It's looking a bit dicey south of the bridge. Major exchanges going on. PD gone down. Morax sort of holding. Both sides just kind of skirmishing. Meanwhile, on the bridge itself, just a balls out attack by Jonas right down the middle. That's going to peter out though. Can't contend with the reinforcements. Morax moving up. Another mech's down. There goes his intel up here. Actually looked like a Magno. Was that a captured radar? We have that wrong. So we've got a gun upgrade on the way now for Jonas. South of the bridge, still little movement. It's where all of the fighting is right now. Vital that Jonas contains him here, doesn't allow him to expand. He has got a new proxy base going up down here for extra reinforcements. Can't allow Morax to get control of this while he's been expanding north of the bridge as well. That would be too much map control for Jonas to lose, who he himself is now power stalling. Trying to complete this gun upgrade, 87% done there. Needs to get that power balance back out of flux ASAP. He's going straight for another upgrade. Can he fund that? No, he can't. Not until that mass runs out. And that's going to happen relatively fast, I suppose. Maybe not. So this is a double upgrade now from Jonas. A little bit risky, but potentially going to make him a very dangerous presence on the field. He's already got 2 stars on the comm. He's got the FAF gun upgrade. And with nano repair, he's going to be pretty hard to contain, even with T2 PDs going up over here. Just to give you an idea, each of these T2 PDs is about 450 mass, I think, if memory serves. Each one of the upgrades, the Zeph amp and the nano upgrade, are 800 mass. So that's pretty significant. You're talking about, for the cost, essentially, obviously this offers takes a lot more power to do these upgrades than it does to build the PDs, but mass is what's really concerning us overall in this game. And in terms of mass, for the cost of 4 Cerberus turrets, you're getting a very dangerous commander with now 62 hit points a second regen on it. He's got 16,200 hit points and an upgraded gun coming your way. And Morax thinks he's pretty comfortable. He looks pretty comfortable, but that's going to be quite hard to contain. And it's not before time, because that upgrade period has cost Jonas. It's 27 to 19, 31 now to 19. He's got to make these upgrades count. Nice overcharge deals with one of the forward mexes. Both of the Cerberus turrets open up on Jonas's comm. He's focusing down the turrets, which is a wise move. He's correctly assessed that all of the spam has been diverted south of the bridge, which is actually making good headway. Meanwhile, the forward proxy base for Jonas has been taken out, and they're now threatening the main base, but I think they're going to peter out. Jonas will be able to contain that. He's even got some engineers forward assisting with the repairs on the comm, so that health bar's just going nowhere. Morax busy trying to reclaim what he can out of the lost point defense up here. Don't forget there are more PDs up here, but that's already, in mass terms, what he spent from what he's taken out on one of those upgrades. Shows you just why so many people go for gun. You might think, get the point defense locked down, but point defense not great. Certainly if you're Cybran, not a huge fan of those Cerberus turrets at all. Damage output's just way too low. And now Jonas on the warpath, and it's Morax's turn to back up. He's got more PDs going down up here, and a Jester enters the mix. That might help. He should send it in. He's got a couple of interceptors. Do we even have any air at all? We do have one air factory. It's lying dormant at the moment. Everything has been about the ground spam, but there is the Jester plane. That's going to force Jonas to back up. He's not going to like what he sees there. We're probably going to see some archers being spat out of the unit mix from the factories back here now as a reaction to that. Engineers expanding for Morax now, trying to put up mexes on the new territory that he's bagged south of the bridge. Engineers throwing down a railgun, so that's going to clear the skies above. that ACU, which is now at 4 stars with 74 hit points a second regen and nearly 19k at full HP. Morax trying to get as many point defense online as possible. That's a huge wealth sink, huge math sink. And look at how well he tanks that, gets another ranking vet, and just goes, nope, I'm even stronger now, thank you, at 80 hit points a second and at 20k total HP. Morax continues to build point defense. There's really little else he can do at this point, and he's also getting pushed back south of the bridge as well. Engineers expanding out for Johnice, picking up reclaim as he goes, and this is actually turning into a bad situation for Morax, who's way up on mass, 31 to 11. 38k versus 31k overall, but he's struggling to contain this Rambo UEF ACU now, which is knocking on the front door of his base. Johnice needs to keep his gun trained on the functional Cerberus turrets. Beautiful overcharge there, deals with a couple of the engineers. Mantis rolling in, he's doing everything he can to keep the pressure trained on Johnice, who's reacted to that last Jester just in case by spitting out some interceptors now. He's even got some archers down here, so that Jester play is not going to work again, even though we've got 90% complete on the next one. Morax in a pretty pickle right now, and it looks like he's losing control south of the bridge, which is actually where the next Jester has been sent. Having some success till the interceptors turned up to deal with him, but they need to bug out. They're getting done by a couple of tracers further back belonging to Morax. Might struggle with the relief of the land there, putting those point defense just under the brow of the hill. I'm not convinced that's great positioning. Cheeky little overcharge into the chassis of Morax's ACU. Johnice down into the yellow is going to allow himself a bit of recovery time. Let that HP regen, push him back up into the green. There it goes. Getting good work done south of the bridge now, knocking on the door of Morax's base. Morax pulling his T1 support over to this side. We're finally seeing some Lobos in the mix from Johnice as well. Everything has just been right for Johnice in the last 10 minutes or so. His timing's been pretty sublime on everything. Is he going to lose that factory? Quite possibly. Meanwhile, Morax pushing out now. Going to go and walk up to that T1 PD and reclaim it. T1 bomber out from Johnice. Sort of clips Morax's comm. Doesn't hit it cleanly though. Back to the main base. And we've had an upgrade in land for Morax, who's got his first Rhino on the field. That's a hell of a wealth sink at a time. Hell of a math sink at a time when he might have ill-able to be able to have afforded it. T2 Mex has gone down. That pulls Morax back to 15. Johnice now ahead in eco terms when he's been functioning really well at a deficit. This could be a death nail for Morax. Morax forced to pull his comm now to contain these units spilling into his base from south of the bridge. Johnice not capitalizing on it with his comm. He could have been continued to pressure, but he hasn't done it. Instead, he's pulling his comm back to the main base. Interesting decision when you've got him bottled up. I would have thought he would have wanted to carry on pushing in. T1 bombers just picking up little engineers dotted around the map. There's one down here. There's a radar system at the bottom. A few units just being sent out by Johnice to scout out for any lurking cyber naughtiness. these rhinos just circling, picking off with their extra ranged and firepower advantage as many units as they can. So Morax, where's his waypoint headed? Well, he's going to push south of the bridge now, it would seem. Jester going to snag a couple of kills south of Morax's base, but Johnice has pulled his comm right the way back to the main base and is now going to push the south side of the bridge, and that's where the majority of the spam is sitting. And if he can push on up, and if he can hit the base and eliminate that T2 HQ, surely this game is done and dusted. Morax fighting valiantly with fewer units but a tech advantage on the ground. That's the view from Morax's window. Got that Jester lurking around. Just a very small area of the map. He's got a field of view now. Will he be aware that that's the ACU? You can kind of tell when you've played enough of this game by the speed that something moves. He's starting work on a Cerberus turret, but we know those can't contain this ACU for long. There's the overcharge before it even gets finished. Johnice turns up and just starts wreaking havoc amongst Morax's forces. Morax having to pull back at a 4-mass deficit still. 10k overall advantage, but that's meaningless at this point. Johnice in the driving seat as he pushes on out towards Morax's base. Johnice pushes up onto the plateau, which houses the main base, working on the spam. Morax backing up into the center of the main base. He started a Cerberus turret, letting the engineers try and finish it off, but they're not going to be able to. This comm is way too devastating. He starts trying to get more operational down here, but he's never going to manage it, and it looks like that land factory is going to go, which represents a huge investment. And that's the end of any T2 units for Morax, any T2 offensive units. Gesture starts tickling away at Johnice's comm, putting some fire down on the ACU. Morax wants to split his attention as much as possible between the comm and his units so he can get more of this point defense online. In come the inties from Johnice to take out the Jester. Trouble is, he doesn't have a large body of troops over here at all, and he's struggling with his current eco right now. Just 9 mass per tick. Completing that one Cerberus turret was a chore. He stopped production everywhere else to speed up production on the point defense, but Morax dropping into the yellow. Attention from Johnice switches over to the point defense. Lobos deal with the first one. Last ditch effort from what T2 spam he's got left on the field. And what, if anything, can he do? Very little. It's build point defense, try to keep that blasted UEF machine out of my base, but that is what he's operating on right now. That is his field of view, and the field of view put out by this one interceptor, which has currently got bogies homing in on it right now. He pulls it back wisely over the top of that banger. Johnice manages to contend with that intie, but loses his 2 inties in the process to that flak. Needs to get over the hump of the hill to get his comm in range of that banger. One more to go up at the back there. We'll give him air dominance. There's now 3 Cerberus turrets up here. Jonas not rushing in, doesn't want to throw it away. I think he can probably afford to be a little bit braver than he's being, but you know what? Respect where respect's due when you're giving up 300 ladder ranking points to your opponent. I think you can afford to be a little bit cautious. Lots of wall sections up to impede a potential counter-attack from Morax on the northern side. T1 PD's catching out a couple of units over here. Mostly moles now in that little pack. No major threat. What's going on back at base? Still producing interceptors, and he's upgraded to T2 now, starting to push out with some flapjacks. Is he going to push him down the middle? So it looks like he's going that way. That's pretty brutal, actually. He's got a couple up in the pile already up here, and one pillar in that unit mix. We can start hitting these Cerberus turrets at range with his mobile missile launchers, which is what he's doing, and they'll become even less of a threat to that already chunky ACU. Another Cerberus turret down. Jack took a little bit of light artillery fire there. Another Cerberus turret goes up. 34 minutes. And Morax still hanging on in there. And actually, eco terms, when he's reclaiming, not that far behind, but he's giving up 10 generated eco mass points to his opponent. So many Cerberus turrets now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If Morax can just keep this going and get to a critical mass of point defense, it'll be too much for Jonas to hope to break into without switching up to something more elaborate, more costly, kind of Tech 3 measure. And that might provide the window for Morax to get re-established. 35 minutes gone. Jonas still skirmishing. 160 kills on board that ACU now. Morax, by contrast, 37. Shows you just how much work Jonas has been doing with his comm. Another Cerberus turret down. Mobile missile launcher tactics, slow, but it works. Minimum exposure right here, and you can see it in the kill loss ratio. 1.44 for Jonas versus 0.7 for Morax. Telling a story about this match and the way it's gone. And now, tank platoon of pillars rolling down the middle. And this is going to be difficult for Morax to contain. Stealth generator up to try and confuse Jonas a little bit, try and cut down that advantage he's got with the range on board that comm with the Zephamp. Another Cerberus turret on the way. It's just insane how long Morax is holding on here. He's still producing aircraft? Yes, he is. One Jesser at the back and a whole bunch of Inties as well. But now as Jonas going in for the kill, in come the pillars over the bridge. His spam is near him on the south side. He's still taking a lot of fire from the 2 Cerberus turrets back here. Needs to be careful. The spam rolling in though to target those Cerberus turrets while they're busy on Jonas's comm. Absolutely everything being deployed to try and take out that PD. But still Morax is in this. I can't believe it. Jester brought out of the backfield to engage that UEF ACU that's been so troublesome. And then he starts going all in on Morax's comm, and surely he can't hang on anymore. Surely that's it. Morax fighting to the bitter end. 5,000 hit points and falling. Down goes the hoplite at the top left. One rhino out of the factory and promptly dies, so he's re-established his HQ somewhere. May have been taken down in the process. But Morax into the red. Jonas going mano a mano. Says, what a game indeed. Morax with the well played, always a gentleman. But today is Jonas's day, and pretty awesome play. I do feel if he'd have been a bit more aggressive, he might have been able to finish that earlier, but there's nothing away from the way he played. That was utterly awesome, a masterclass, and just shows you though how important the upgrades can be. It looked like Morax was gaining ground, had a lovely little point defense creep going on, pushed Jonas all the way back, who then went for a double comm upgrade, but still probably cost about less than the amount that Morax had spent on static PDs, which were just going to be able to be brushed aside bit by bit by a regenning comm. And once he had that gun and that nano upgrade, Morax was playing catch up the whole time. He couldn't invest in any more upgrades on his own comm, and it was all damage limitation right to the end. But wonderful game. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future, including, as we said at the beginning of the cast, more on the whole Guile tries to learn FA biz. Might put out a Let's Play as well of something else for a little bit of downtime. Might continue with Bannerlord or something else. We'll see. If you feel so inclined, guys, do consider Patreon. Remember, that's up there. If you don't like Patreon, I do have the PayPal listed as well below the video. Thank you so much. Again, I do it every time because it is so important. You guys keep this channel going for me. It's important that I thank you for it. Everybody who's donated so far, you have my undying gratitude, and for everyone who will donate in the future. Otherwise, guys, have a wonderful Easter, and I will see you in the coming days. Stay well, stay home, stay safe. This is Guile signing out.